I want to talk about a big topic, relationships. And I'm not talking about romantic relationships because I don't have a lot of expertise in that like subject. But all I can say is that relationships can also apply to family, friends, and basic coworkers, basically everyone else. So I think this is a big topic that Steven mentioned on his book, The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. But it's a big topic because he started by saying that you cannot build a good relationship with others if you don't have a good relationship with yourself. Others test you. Other people are they test your character. They show you who you actually are. They test your patience. And I know you've seen it. Like I seen it with my sister a lot. Like she's one of my biggest relationships that I have. And definitely like I'm learning that it's so important to bring that energy back to me. It's important to work on my character. It's important to work on my patience. It's important to work on my temperament. All of those things because I cannot control her. I cannot control how she is. And at the same time I have to establish some boundaries and all of that, but I'll talk about that in other episodes. However, I want to talk about the importance of using other people to fill your void. This is also a big topic regarding relationships, but basically what I'm learning is that if your cup is empty and you want other people to fill your cup, you are basically taking advantage of other people, and you are telling someone, hey, like this is my happiness, you are in charge of this, you are in charge of me. And when that person leaves, when your sister leaves, when your friend decides to leave you or cut the relationship, they're gonna take your peace, they're gonna take your mental peace with them because you allowed them, you gave it to them. And this is a big topic because I've always been taught that you have to give yourself over to people, not directly. Like my parents never told me, oh, do you have to give yourself over to people, but like I've always learned that. I've seen my parents, their relationship, and I've seen other people like in marriages, and I just see how like the person just gives themselves over, and usually when they get a divorce or something, they're completely lost. They don't even know who they are. So that's the main topic, learning how to make yourself happy, learning how to control yourself, learning how to bring it in first. Because if you don't know how to bring it in, you might be using others to fill your void, and that's not fair. That's not fair. I don't ever want to do that with my friends or with my family or with anyone, because I've done it before. I've tried search for that happiness outside, and it's always like it's going to feel good at first, but after a while your mental energy, your void is going to bring you back low. It's going to bring you back low, and you're going to think you need someone else, and you're going to think you will always be searching for something else, when in reality you have the answers. It's all in you. And I know the knowledge side of things. However, the application, it's kind of difficult for me because I know the knowledge, I know the concepts, but also taking action, that's what's important. That's also important. It's important to do all of this if you want to achieve what Stephen calls interdependence. And interdependence is a new topic. It's something that goes beyond independence. It means that you don't need people, but you are there to support people. You are there to give yourself with boundaries. Grow together but alone. Like you don't become one. You're just growing in different ways, in different paths, but you're growing together without expecting that person to make you happy and vice versa. Allowing that person to grow in their own ways, allowing them to be free without attachments, without that's the concept of interdependence. You own yourself, therefore you can help other people who are owning themselves too. And you guys create a beautiful bond because you don't need them, for your happiness, nor do they need you for their happiness. You just choose to be with them. And the biggest example that I can give you about inner independence is what my dad told me when I was growing up. I came up to him and I was like, "Hey, like, how do you show your love? Because I know you love us, but you're not the traditional dad that's like that shows his love through through words or like hugs. He does not show his love like that." And I talked to him and I was like, "How do you show your love?" And he said something that stuck with me, and I feel like that's very true. And I feel like his love is pretty authentic because of this thing. He told me that the best way to show your love to someone is by setting them free, letting them be free, giving them freedom to be whoever they want to be, and loving them without any attachment, loving them without any need, without any expectations, which is something that I usually do with my sister, which, like I said before, she's my biggest relationship. I set some internal expectations of what I expect from her, and I don't let her be free in her own way. And that's the thing, that when my dad told me that love is setting someone free, letting them be themselves without any attachments, without you depending on, without having them to, without needing them to make you happy, you set yourself free because you bring that energy back to yourself, but you love despite needing. And that was pretty powerful. What my dad told me was pretty life changing, and I've seen it. Like, I've seen how he lets me be free. He sets some boundaries, the expectations that he's not going to tolerate, but he allows me to be me. And that's the biggest sign of love, the allowing yourself to be free. So what's needed in these circumstances is self-mastery. Self-mastery. Relationships, like I said before, they test you a lot. You cannot you can numb your thoughts by listening to music. You can numb your feelings by looking at distracting yourself. You can numb yourself, you can numb your pain, but you cannot numb someone else. You cannot get away from a certain confrontation. When I'm fighting with my sister, I cannot control her. I can't. I've tried multiple times. I can't control her, and that's when your character shows. That's where you show who you are, because if you're not able to have a good temper, if you're not patient with you, if you don't have integrity, you won't be able to show that when things are going tough, when you are fighting with your sister. You're not going to be able to show strength if you don't have strength in yourself. And it takes a lot of willpower to actually bring the energy back to yourself and allow that person to feel the anger, allow that person to communicate their pain and listen to them without judging them. And that's the key. The how do you get there? How are you able to form a strong relationship with the people that you love? You got to form it within yourself first. We already established that. But a key word in this is that you got to build self mastery. I've oftentimes heard the phrase that you gotta love yourself before loving others. And that phrase is kind of broad. Like, it's too broad. Like, what does that mean? How do you love yourself before loving others? And Stephen actually talks about a new concept called self mastery, which is so profound. It basically means that you you ought to listen to your needs, first of all, be self aware, be thoughtful of where you're standing, what's your story, why are you reacting the way you're reacting, what hurt you in the past, why are you bringing this pain into this relationship, why? Like, go back inside. And also, self mastery has is a big topic as well, but it's a more concise. Like, it gives you multiple steps. Obey your own values. Have integrity within yourself. Be in have integrity with your values, what you value. Show up for your values even when things get tough, because it's so easy to be honest when things are good, when things are going your way. But when things get tough, it's hard. When you have a fight with your sister, it's hard to stay true to your values. But those are the moments that you gotta stay true to those values. But how do you build that? You reinforce it within yourself first. You reinforce it within yourself. Self mastery, showing up for yourself, obeying yourself, setting boundary within yourself, knowing what you tolerate within yourself and what you're not gonna allow. Knowing that part of yourself, controlling your temper. If you get easily angry, then at yourself, then you gotta control that, because when times get hard with your relationships, with the public life, with your public lifestyle, you're just gonna react. And that's the problem. If you don't have a lot of self control, you will be reacting to all the negative people, all the negative external situations. That's why I say always bring it back to yourself, always bring it back to yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you're able to have patience within yourself, if you're able to see things differently, if you're thoughtful, if you're courageous, if you have integrity with your values, you will show that when things get hard. And this happened to me like 3 weeks ago. My family had a fight, and it was the first time in no, like ever in my whole life that I didn't react. Like I didn't react. I was just listening to them. They I wasn't involved in the fight. I was just like the spectator, but I was listening to them, and I, I didn't react. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel unsafe. I felt good because inside I had work on myself. Like that day I meditated, I read, like I was good. I had patience. So just I was able to help them out. I was able to like hear them out, like, hey, what's up? What's going on with you two? Like with you three, because it was like the whole family thing. Like, what's going on? Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. I was able to be that person because inside myself I had peace. I had peace, and I was able to reflect that. And I feel like people know this. People notice. I don't know what it is, but when someone has a bad mood, when someone's in a bad mood, you kind of know, you kind of like sense it. It's like, oh, sure, like that person, even though you can hide it, you can put your fake smile, but people will notice. And I've noticed that in my life. Anytime I lie to people telling them, oh, I'm all right, they notice. Like, even my parents, my mom, like my sister, she's like, you're not good. Like, tell me what's going on within you. And that reflects, like, the power, that the quality of your character reflects on the quality of your relationships, and it becomes a cycle. It becomes an extremely cycle. So to conclude this episode, i I think it's important to always bring it back to yourself. Maybe we're not there yet. Maybe independence is our first goal, achieve independence. But if we're able to master ourselves, maybe it's going to take us 10 years, but if we're able to master our emotions, our selves, master everything that we already talked about, if we're able to do that, I think that it will bring a better quality. It will amplify our relationships. And I've noticed anytime I'm in a good mood, I reflect that into others. I give them that energy. So it's important to work on you first, because if you don't work on you, you'll be lying to yourself and lying to other people. And you might be using other people to make you happy, and that's not fair. That's not fair. So mm, I I like to think of the concept that there's still more that I got to do within myself before I commit to anything, or before I'm getting deep. No, but like, I was talking with my friend the other day, one of these days, whatever, and I told her, like, I really do want to work on myself. Like, I want to bring it back to me, not in a selfish way, because I know that if I do this, I know that in the end I'll be helping other people. I can help more people. I can inspire more people. But if I'm trying to fill my own ego, if I'm trying to fill my own cup with other people, I'll just be miserable. And we don't want to portray that. We don't want to give that out. We don't want to give that neediness into others. So that's a good reminder that I want to have. And it's important. Self-mastery, it's important. We're still growing, we're still learning, but if we can just master three things that Stephen Covey talked about, let me just say them really quick. If we can master personal integrity, staying true to your who you are and what you stand for. Number two, bravery, or slash courage, setting boundaries and having stopping the urge to follow the temptations. And number three, being thoughtful, know your scars, what hurts, your traumas, and where you come from. If we can start with those things, this will bump up our quality of our relationships. But anyways, it was a big topic and definitely something that I enjoy talking about. It's always fun to learn about this, and we're still growing. Like I said before, I'm being repetitive, sorry. But we're still learning. We still have so much to learn. We are young, so that's good. But those are the insights. Those are the insights from the 7 habits of highly effective people. Before you go, next week we're going to talk about being envious of other people. And I've actually done that. So make sure to tune in just so you can hear my personal experience, because I want to be honest with all of you and where I come from and what I had and I'm working on to become someone that I want to be, to become the person that I want to become the person that I admire. But anyways, thank you for being here with me. It means a lot to me. I don't know. I But before you go, remember, hug yourself. Give yourself that love. Always, 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 always bring it back to you. It's gonna benefit everyone. It's gonna benefit everyone. Hug yourself and hug that crazy chaos of yours. I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye bye.